Hey, it's Jag. It's a working winder.
Yeah.
We're ready to start doing some ciphering on the computer. I've got Grbl downloaded and unzipped in the Grbl master folder, and I need to drag this subfolder, this Grbl subfolder, into the libraries folder for my Arduino. So I'm going to copy that and paste it in here. Now that I have that file there, I need to go to Arduino IDE, and I need to go to File, Examples, Grbl, Grbl Upload. Go to Tools, Arduino AVR Boards, and choose Arduino Uno. And from Tools, I need to go to the Port menu and select my Arduino. It's on COM4. And then I just need to go to Sketch and select Upload, and it should upload to the Arduino. And it's done uploading. I don't see any errors. We're done installing Grbl to the Arduino, so we'll go on to the next step. Well, right about there, I ran into my first couple of actually very minor roadblocks, but it did confuse me for a while. It's a couple days later now. I decided at the time I ran into those roadblocks that rather than showing a whole bunch of video of me hemming and hawing and trying to figure out why it wasn't doing exactly what it should be doing, and I'll go into that. I thought, well, I'm going to take some time and go through this, figure out what went wrong, fix that, and then come back and complete the setup of the software. I downloaded Grbl and installed it, and then I downloaded and installed Universal G-Code Center. Everything was looking good. I was connecting to the Arduino. I was able to enter commands. I was able to change the commands and the defaults for Grbl. But there was a couple of commands in there that were missing. In particular, 30, where you set the upper limit for the RPM of your motor. Then I found that my winder motor was going the opposite direction from what I expected. In other words, if I was telling it to wind clockwise, it would go counterclockwise. If I was telling it to go counterclockwise, it would go clockwise. Not really a big issue, and I had a pretty good idea what that problem was, but this thing about this missing command in Grbl was really bothering me. So I spent some time kind of playing and looking around and getting to know the software. And then when I was reviewing my footage, I was looking where I had started first working with Universal G-Code Center, and I noticed that down here it said connected to Grbl 0.9. And in the back of my mind, I remembered reading the instructions from Highline Guitars, and I thought it was Grbl 1 point something. So that kind of raised a little bit of a red flag. I thought, oh, 0.9, that's strange. And then I noticed up here that it said 0.9J.20160726. So obviously a date, July 26th, 2016. I thought, that's now almost 8 years old. So I thought, okay, I must have downloaded the wrong version. And so I went looking, and sure enough, I did download the wrong version. The most recent version of Grbl I could find was version 1.1, and it was from 2019. Specifically, it's version 1.1H.20190825, so August 25th, 2019. I wasn't convinced that I did have the most recent version of Grbl still. But it turns out I do. From what I understand, it's pretty much maxed out. There's just no more room in the firmware for more development or commands. So I thought, okay, I'll go ahead and I'll install Grbl 1.1 and flash the Arduino. Not like that. So the next thing is to install a universal G-code sender, and that one's really easy. Download the universal G-code sender version for your operating system. In this case, we're installing it to Windows 10. It comes in a zip file, and then you extract that file. Then copy the extracted folder into your program files. Go in to the subfolders through UGS Platform Win to bin, and then double click the UGS Platform 64 application. It's not really an install, you copy it in there. Once Universal G-code Sender has started up, you can go up to the Tools menu and select Create Shortcut. That will make a shortcut to it on your desktop, so you can find it later. That's basically it for installing Universal G-code Sender. So now we're ready to test the winder. We are going to test that the communication between the computer and the winder is working and doing what we expect. We also have to change some defaults in the Grbl software before we go on to testing the pickup winding software that Chris provides. From the firmware drop-down, if Grbl is not already selected, you want to click that drop-down and choose Grbl, and then you want to go to the port and choose your UNO. Mine shows up on COM4. So once you've made those two selections, you click this connect icon, and that will connect you to the Arduino, and you can see the Grbl defaults will be displayed initially. Now I've already made the changes that Chris suggests, but I'll run through them really quickly here. There's only 4 defaults we need to change. One is this 30. We need to change that to 3500 for maximum spindle speed. Your motor for your winder should be a 3500 RPM motor. That's what's specified in the parts list. So we're just setting that to 35. I think the default is 1000. The other changes we need to make are 100. We need to change that. It will initially be set to 250. The instructions say set it to 200. I had to set it to 400. I'll show you why when we get a little further on in the testing here. So this is the only thing really I had to adjust differently from what was recommended in the instructions. The only other 2 things we need to change are 110 here. We need to change that from 500 to 1000. And 120, same, we change it from 500 to 1000. So once we've done that, we've got all the defaults set now as we need them. So next we're going to do the default settings on the counter. And I've done them exactly as they are in the instructions. There's not really anything to show you any different here. The only difference is that the third setting, the O.TIN, to get that to say hold, it wasn't obvious. It will be at 00, and there isn't really a specific setting for hold. So I scrolled through those numbers. Now I don't know if this would be the same for everybody. It started off at 00. I scrolled through it till I got up to 99, and then I went through 99 to 0. And then I pressed the MD button to save that, and then it said hold. So that was the only setting that seemed to work a little strange, and that might have been just for me. But if that particular setting isn't showing up for you, scroll through the numbers from 0 back to 0, then press the MD button to save that setting, and it should say hold. That's how it worked for me. So from there, we're ready to test the control of the winder motor. Set your counter to 500 turns. Once you've got that set, in the command dialog on Universal G-code Sender, you enter M3S2000. That's just telling it to turn clockwise at 2000 RPM. So it should take 15 seconds to do 500 winds here. Now, when I did this is supposed to set the winder going clockwise. Mine went counterclockwise. That's not a big deal. With a DC motor, just reverse the leads going into the motor. So it was just backwards. It's not a big deal. With a DC motor, the only reason there's a polarity is to tell you which direction the motor is going to turn. So reversing those isn't going to hurt the motor. I've already fixed that. I've got 500 winds set on the counter. I'll move this so you can actually see the bobbin as well. And I've entered that command, M3S2000, into Universal G-Code Sender. I'm going to hit enter, and that should have this wind clockwise to 500 winds at 2000 RPM. It should be about 15 seconds. And there you go, that part of the test worked. So in Universal G-Code Sender, you hit soft reset, and then you hit reset on your counter, and you're ready for the next part of the test, which is the same test but counterclockwise. So I've got that command entered. It's M4S2000. M4S tells it to go counterclockwise, M3S tells it to go clockwise. So now the bobbin should spin counterclockwise for 500 winds, again for about 15 seconds. And there we are. That's great. That's the first part of the test, and it's doing exactly what we want it to do. So far, so good, now that I got Grbl installed properly. If I set reset on the counter, but not hit soft reset on Universal G-Code Sender, it will wind another 500 winds. I'll show you that. I have not hit soft reset after we went to 500 winds. I'll just hit reset on the counter. So it did another 500 revolutions. So that's why you need to hit soft reset, and then you reset your counter, and everything's fine. The next part of the test is just to make sure that the traverse is going the direction we want it to go, and that it's traveling the distances that we are telling it to travel. So in the instructions, one of the suggestions made is to get a longer lead screw for the traverse. So the lead screw is this little screw here, and because you need to turn this to set the traverse where you need it, Chris suggests getting a longer lead screw so it sticks out the front here, and then you could turn it to set it where you want. One of my Jagenstein approaches to this was I ground a slot into the lead screw. You can see that there. And I can just use a flathead screwdriver to set the traverse to where I want it to be. So for this test, Chris says to set the traverse to the middle of its travel. And then you need to take a little piece of tape, stick it on the rail right at the guide. And this is so we can test how far the traverse is going to move. In Universal G-Code Sender, you need to go to Jog Controller menu here and enter step size 0.5, half an inch. We want the traverse to move half an inch. Feed rate will be 50, and we're going to go half an inch in the negative direction, or the traverse should move that way. So I've got that all entered, and I'm going to press that -X jog button, and you will see this move. There, it's moved back, and it's moved exactly a half an inch back. So when I did this initially, command 100 or variable 100 needed to be set to 200, but when I had it set to 200, the traverse only moved 1/4 of an inch. So I doubled that, just making an educated guess, and that's what I needed to do. I entered 400, and now the traverse was moving exactly a half an inch. So I'm going to jog that back to where we started. It should stop right at the tape again. I will jog that back by pressing the X+, and it stopped right at the tape. So the next test is, I'm sure you can guess, to test the other direction. So we want the traverse now, we want to be sure that it moves half an inch this way. We've got a piece of tape on the backside rail now, and we're going to hit X+ to jog the traverse this way. And it looks like half an inch. We'll measure that, and we've got half an inch. Hit the jog again, X-. It should go right back to the tape, and we're good. So that's the winder tested. It all works. It's built, it's completed, it's ready to wind pickups. I'm not winding pickups today. That will be the next video. But what I will do with a bobbin on here, but no wire, I will load up CNC pickup winder. I will set everything that I would set to wind a coil, and we will let it go through its process just to show you that it's actually going to work and do what it should. I've got the E-Guitar Plan CNC winder loaded up here, and I've entered just arbitrary numbers for the size of my coil and the number of turns and the RPM for the motor. I've said that my desired turns is 2,500 and that the winder motor is going to be going at 1,500 RPM. And that is estimating it will take 1.67 minutes to do that many winds. Of course, I don't have wire loaded, but everything else is set up the way it would be to wind a coil. Once you've got your turn count, everything set up in your turn count calculator tab, go to G-code builder, and you can choose whether you want to wind clockwise, counterclockwise, whether you want no scatter, minimum, medium, or maximum amount of scatter. We'll talk about scatter in the next video when I'm winding pickups. So for now, I'm just going to choose no scatter. That means that the traverse will go at a very even rate back and forth. I will put a camera on the winder as it runs. So once you choose your scatter pattern, save your file. Once that's saved, you start Universal G-Code Sender, connect to your Arduino. On the winder itself, you also need to set your count for the number of winds you want. We said 2,500. I've opened the file, the test file. All I have to do now is hit the play button in Universal G-Code Sender, and the action should start. So the traverse will continue going until you either hit stop in Universal G-Code Sender or until the time runs out. I'm just going to hit stop. So that's it for the video for today. For the next week, I'm going to play around with the winder, make sure we've got tension set and we're not breaking coil wire, that we know what speeds we're turning at, all those kinds of things. I'm just going to spend the next few days getting comfortable and familiar with the winder. Next video, we will wind some pickups. So like always, thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe. Check out my band One Soul Thrust. The links are below. And until the next video, we'll see you.